Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Anonymous Super Seniors, episode 2. Officially, if you made it this far, you stuck through us, or stuck through a very long but painful first episode. Boys, how we feeling?
Pretty good today.
Yeah. I mean, first one's out of the way, which is the hardest. Hopefully, it just gets easier from here, and we just keep rolling. But yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, episode 2, we're cruising now. We got through the cringe of the first episode, and now it's going to be smooth sailing, right? No issues.
We kind of figured out our audio and our video now, kind of.
Joining you virtually on this one. So we'll kind of mix it up. We'll try to get in touch and obviously be together on as many episodes as we can be, but a lot of us got families and different things going on, so it's hard to get together. But yeah, we got a good one for you. I think we got some stuff to talk about the Super Bowl coming up here in a couple weeks. Other football, sports stuff, as we mentioned in episode 1. I'm really looking forward to a couple bits that we've got. One in particular is what our kids are into, that we were into. That's going to be, I feel like, is going to be one that's going to open a can of worms. But yeah, we'll jump straight into it. We'll talk a little bit about the Super Bowl here coming up. Boys, I can't help but feel like, I mean, Chris is really excited because he's an Eagles fan, but I'll be honest, I'm not as thrilled to watch this game, seeing Kansas City back in it 3 years in a row.
Chris,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us a little bit?
I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty stoked. I think Philly can do it. I think they can win. I think if there's a team right now out there that can beat Kansas City, I think it's Philly.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Philly can do it. I think that run game is dangerous, and I mean Saquon's obviously had a phenomenal year. I think they have enough weapons. Like Jalen can hurt them through the air enough to keep them honest.
Jalen can hurt them.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all collectively rooting for the Eagles just because, one, Chris is an Eagles fan. Two, I think we all hate the Chiefs.
I think Braden's not.
No, I think, and obviously I'm a Rams fan, like we talked about in the first episode, and I don't know if this is sad to say or what, but it's go Birds for me, and I think 90% of the world right now, it's go Birds. I mean, time to get the Chiefs out of there and stop that three-peat.
I was thinking about this the other day. You know, we all grew up with the legacy of the Patriots, right? Tom Brady making his run, was in the AFC Championship, what seemed like every single year, was in the Super Bowl every other year. Do you ever feel like you ever had the hatred for the Patriots that you have for the Chiefs?
Personally, I don't hate the Chiefs, only because I love Andy Reid. Coming from Philadelphia, I've always loved Andy Reid. So I don't hate the Chiefs. I'm just kind of on the point, coming to the point where it's like, okay, we're getting to that New England kind of level where they're getting all the calls. They're getting all the publicity and all the stuff, you know what I mean? And so I don't know that it's necessarily that I hate the Chiefs, but I definitely hated the Patriots. I can tell you that. I hated the Patriots.
See, I think I'm on the opposite. I never really hated the Patriots. They were frustrating, but I felt like, obviously, Tom being one of the best to ever do it, like, you did it the right way. Like, I don't feel like they ever, I don't know. It was just different. And maybe it's because I am a Broncos fan and the Chiefs are in my division and I haven't seen a division title in 13 years. So that's probably, and Canyon probably shares my pain being a Bengals fan and always kind of getting eliminated right there on the cusp of greatness. So
Brady just had to casually bring up that.
Yeah.
At least you're getting there.
The Bengals' cusp of greatness was like, oh, maybe we'll make it to the playoffs and win a playoff game within these next 30 years or so. That's about all we were rooting for.
Went to a Super Bowl.
We did.
Years ago.
What happened?
I know, but Brady's talking about
Happened.
Brady's talking about being on the cusp of, and we were only on the cusp a single year, and then Braden decided to hop out of the woodwork and become a Rams fan, a diehard Rams fan for 2 weeks, and
I was up at Shields right before the game.
Yeah, I show up.
Pakistan.
I show up in like a full Bengals getup. I've got like Bengal shorts on, a Bengal jersey, Bengal hat, Bengal socks, orange shoes. Braden shows up in a Rams hat that he just bought and like a
At
t-shirt.
fans.
Yeah.
To
And I'm like,
fans.
and then they win, and I'm like, sick.
The Ross special Ram shirt that was hanging out.
The Raw special.
He returned that thing too.
Oh,
I think for me, going back to your question, Brady, my issue, I don't like the Chiefs. One, because Chiefs fans are insufferable, which is one of the reasons why I don't like the Chiefs. Patriots fans were like hard, but Chiefs fans there's just too many Chiefs fans that I know that I just cannot stand. And so I am not a fan. I think one of the things for me that separates Brady and the Chiefs is just that it felt like for me when I was watching the Patriots go on their run and like start their dynasty, it felt like the Patriots were dominating people. Like they were far and away the best team. Yeah, it sucks seeing them every year, but they were consistently just the better team in all aspects. I feel like for the Chiefs, especially this year in particular, it feels like they're barely scraping by, but it always rolls their way.
They are. That's
Every game, bro.
That's exactly why I'm saying though that the Eagles they can beat them because they're not scoring a lot of points, and the Eagles with the number one defense, it's not going to be easy for them to score their 20 points a game or whatever it is they're scoring. They're not scoring a lot.
Yeah.
and Saquon goes off.
And that's what I'm saying. Saquon, if they shut down Saquon, you got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, right? Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts can run the ball. I don't see the Chiefs' defense is good as well. They're really good. Their defensive front's really good. I just don't see how they beat Philly. I don't see it. And maybe that's a biased opinion, but that's all right.
I don't think that's.
Yeah, they've got to put pressure on Mahomes. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
If he has time, that's the one downside.
I think that Philly can do it though. I mean, they've got some studs. Their corners can buy their defensive line enough time to get some pressure. I think it'll be.
Well, I just don't know who else can block Jalen Carter either.
Yeah.
I mean, you double team him and then that's fine, but
yeah.
You guys want to throw out a prediction for this one?
Chris, you want to go first since it's your team?
Yeah, flash that Philly.
Obviously, I'm going Eagles. Obviously, I'm going Eagles 27, Chiefs 20.
Okay.
Okay.
A
good game. Okay.
Yep. Close. Good game, but Philly edges it.
Okay. I'm going to go Philly as well. I'm going to say 31-25.
Okay.
I'm going to write
That's
that.
if Jake Elliott can make a freaking field goal.
He'll clutch up and make one.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'll ride that Philly train. I think it's going to be closer than people think, but I also think it's going to be a lower scoring game. Even with the running game, that's going to take up a lot of the clock. So for me, I think it's going to end up being something like 24-17 Eagles.
Okay, close games around. I think I'm going to ride the Philly train as well. Like I said, go Birds. Score-wise, I think it's gonna be competitive until Saquon breaks one of his trademark big runs. So I think final score 24-34.
Okay.
So 34 Philly, 24 Chiefs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
So it'll be competitive, though. I think
Love it.
It's going to be close most of the game.
Okay.
Nice.
Chris, you sent me something earlier this week that I thought was a kind of a good feed off of this this chat. But so I guess we can go through everybody, but we'll start with you since your team is actually in the Super Bowl. But if you could pick one person on the offensive and defensive side of the ball that could join for the Super Bowl, anybody that was ever an Eagles fan or an Eagles player, sorry, yeah. Anybody, offensive, defensive side of the ball, who are you picking?
So I thought about this because you and I had talked, but we didn't tell Braden and Brady, but we had talked about it a little. I thought about it. My choices are easy.
Well, I feel like your defensive one is pretty easy.
It's very easy.
Yeah, but
Dawkins all day, every day.
Yeah, like one of the baddest.
That's not a question.
Okay.
I'm bringing Brian Dawkins in. And then my offensive player, that one was a little tougher for me, but I think I'm going Terrell Owens.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
That's an interesting. I honestly, I thought you were going to go Jason Kelsey. I thought you were going to bring back Jason Kelsey.
I mean,
for
that's fair. But to be honest, as much as I love Jason Kelsey, like you guys know, I'm a huge Jason Kelsey fan.
yeah,
Cam Jurgens is holding his own.
that's fair.
He's
He's
doing
having a good
dang
year.
good.
He's
So,
doing really well.
I like as much as I love Jason Kelsey, and I feel like we could, it would be similar. I think that the offensive line is working the same with him retired as well. So, I think I'm going To.
Cool. Okay.
I like it.
Well, since you and I had talked about it, I had also thought about it, so we'll give Braden and Brady some additional time to think about it. So on defense, I think if the Bengals were in the Super Bowl right now with the team that we have, I don't know if it's recency bias, but just I feel like our defense went downhill as soon as he left. It's Jesse Bates for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm bringing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought you were going to say Vontez Perfect, but
no. Like, I mean, listen. I mean,
Nobody bring him back.
everybody has their feelings on Vontez. You know, he definitely wasn't the cleanest player, but Jesse Bates, I just feel like held down that deep that secondary. Not in the way that Brian Dawkins did. Obviously, Brian Dawkins was a lot more physical, but Jesse Bates, I think, just controlled things in the back end and just made the players in the secondary better because they could rely on him, and so they could play a little bit more freely.
It's a good one. I feel like this one's pretty easy.
Well, so I was debating. I mean, anybody that knows me knows my favorite Bengals player of all time is Chad Ochocinco Johnson. I mean, the fastest feet in the league when he was doing it. I thought about it, and I feel like it would be a nasty wide receiver group to have Ocho on the outside, T as the 2, and then Jamar as the slot. Like, I feel like that is just like a disgusting trio.
Yeah.
But I like what we have at the moment, and I feel like teams already plan for throwing the ball a ton. So it was a toss up. It's Willie Anderson, like one of the all time greats on the Bengals offensive line, to hopefully anchor that down. I think it's just hard to pass up Chad though. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way I would be
Like,
picking Chad Ochocinco.
because you
every
can't
day.
because Jamar gets doubled all the time.
Yeah.
You can't double Jamar if you got Chad T.
No. Honestly,
And
if you
Jamar.
have Ochocinco in his prime, you're doubling him.
True. Yeah.
Like you're not trying to double anybody else.
Yeah. That's fair.
you
yeah.
just got to hope that Burrow can stay up.
Yeah. Long
Yeah,
to get it to
that's-
one of them.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got these 3 receivers, but you practically have a paper bag.
I
for an
mean,
offensive line.
listen. He got to the Super Bowl being the most sacked quarterback in a playoff game ever. So if he could do it then, he could do it now.
I think that you say that. I think Patrick Mahomes is like top 3 sacked quarterbacks this year. I think, honestly.
Really?
That might be a stat. I could be way off. I could just be throwing it out, total crap to the wind. But I think I heard that in the
lying
last
over
game.
here.
They were saying that their offensive line has struggled this year. No, Canada. Those are all good. I think with Denver, it's hard. I have my favorite all time, defensive Broncos player is obviously Von Miller. I think I was very young when he was picked. That and Champ Bailey. So it's gonna be a toss up.
Bailey.
If you put Champ Bailey on opposite sides of PS2, it's like
That's what,
Dude.
That's where I was thinking because I kind of thought about it when me and Brady. I was like, man, Champ Bailey opposite PS2.
Yeah.
like you would basically have to throw to your tight end running backs or slots like 99% of the time because your outside guys weren't
Yeah.
going to be covered. But I think I don't know, man. I've been rolling with Riley Moss. This new white corner generation we got going on with Cooper DeJean and Riley Moss. Like I don't know, he's a dog. I like him. So I think I'm going to go with Vaughn. I think we could produce. I mean, obviously this year, if it was this year, I probably would have gone Champ. But I think only because of the pressures and the sacks that Denver, they would have the highest amount of sacks in the league this year. So, let's say Champ. And then if it was this year in particular, man, offense is hard because we had a lot of holes in our offense. And like one of the top ones would be, say, bring back Peyton,
I
right?
was gonna say,
Like bring back Peyton. He made do with a lot of guys, but it's like we don't have the receiving core that Peyton had. when he had Eric Decker and he had Demarius Thomas and he had Julius Thomas. Like that was
Peyton,
I know, but it's like, do you bring back Peyton or do you go with somebody who's like an all-time great, like a Terrell Davis? Because like we didn't have a run game this year because we didn't have a running back. So it's like, but if I'm looking for a game manager, it's got to be Peyton. You know, you got to bring him back. Bring him back. He got to 2 Super Bowls in the time that he was here. Got throttled in one, but I think I would bring back Peyton, let him go to town, and just
So
disperse
Peyton
that
and
ball.
Vaughn.
Peyton and Vaughn.
Did Shannon Sharp cross your mind at all?
Mr. Red Pill himself did. Yeah. Yeah, I thought about it, and then I kind of thought about, you know, I don't know. I mean, we do need a tight end. So Shannon was up there, you know, but and good to pay a tribute to DT as well, but you know, bring him back obviously because you know RIP. But
yeah, I think for me, and this one, I mean, a little
Do you
more
know?
recent.
Wait,
Does
do you
he know any Rams players?
to
I knew
players?
this was coming, guys. Yes. Well, that's why.
Well, a Rams player that played like not the last 2 years.
Well, I mean, I was going to say Aaron Donald.
the
but-
defensive ones.
I mean,
the
that's fair.
defensive-
That
yeah,
one's pretty
okay,
easy.
it's
It's an
obvious.
easy.
That
He's
one's
the
pretty
best defensive
easy.
player to ever play for the
Yeah.
Rams.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
true.
Well, I mean, but you have Deacon Jones too, though.
True. I mean, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still going Aaron
AD.
Donald. Obviously, just
Can't
obviously
go wrong there.
took him to a Super Bowl recently. Wish we had him back. You know, he's living the life on the beach now. But yeah, I mean that one's easy for me. I mean, offensively, this one may be just because when I was really a Rams fan, and then took my hiatus of pretending. I was thinking Marshall Falk.
Yeah.
Pick.
Just like I remember growing up, like being a Rams fan, he was the dude, and so I'd bring him back, give us some more offensive power.
What about Steven Jackson though?
Okay.
Torrey Holt, dude.
Torrey Holt, Steven Jackson,
So little bit
Warner.
I was a Rams fan briefly when me and Braden were first friends.
You were.
Yeah, for a little bit. Well, because I was a running back, right? And like Marshall Falk was so dynamic, and like he was fast. He could catch out of the backfield. Like he was just. And you had the greatest show on turf. You had Kurt Warner, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Marshall Falk. Like you had all these guys that were just so good. But then once I got to the age where like you would get made fun of if you hop from team to team. And then I just loved Ocho, so I was like, all right, I just got to ride with the Bengals. And so I like the Marshall pick. I think Marshall's I think Eric Dickerson, like you can, sweeten it.
Dickerson's a good pick.
You
I
put
still
sweet
think one of my
in
favorite players to watch was prime Todd Gurley in his first couple years, bro.
Yeah,
He was
dude,
good.
He was
If he didn't have so many
I was
injuries.
gonna say if he could have stayed healthy,
he was
Would've
something
popped
else. Well, let's jump into. You guys have any fun plans for the Super Bowl? I know Chris, you're probably watching with family. What you up to?
Yeah, I can't watch with, especially this one. I can't watch with other people. Like my family is the only people that I can watch with. It's just not going to happen. So I'm going over. We're going to go hang out with my parents, and I think my siblings and people are going to be over there. So
Nice.
just going to hang
They
out,
have
and
to
I'm going to
keep
yell
them
at
if you start stealing things.
yell at the TV, and yeah.
Nice. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, one of the things that we talk about are athletes having superstitions and doing specific things before games. We all kind of probably had at some point in time something we either realized that we did or didn't realize that we did before games. Do you guys have any funny stories there?
I get made fun of for this still to this day. Dude, every game I would have to. So I'd tape my wrists for baseball games, and I'd always have to go. It was four wraps. If it was less than four, more than four, wouldn't count. And everybody would ask me in baseball because I mean, not a contact sport, nothing crazy. Everyone's like, why are you taping your wrist? And every time, like, oh yeah, when I'm sliding into the bases, I don't want to jam my wrist. 100% of the time, it was superstition, and I was like, no, if I don't do this, and it looked cool. I thought it looked cool. Looking back, I'm like, what was I doing?
Well,
Why 4?
That was my
That's
favorite
his
number.
number.
I was number 4. Like
I
it was the
figured that was why.
go-to. 4 wraps, both wrists.
Well, dude-
Anything less, I was striking out 3 times that game.
That's the thing about superstitions is they don't really have to make sense, right? So like MJ had his lucky shorts. They talked about it on the AFC Championship game. If you guys watched that, Josh Allen making himself throw up before every single game.
Yep.
Why that's a thing, I don't know. Riley Leonard, the quarterback from Notre Dame, his mom, he has his mom text him before every game saying, "You
Sucks.
suck.
Yeah.
No way.
You suck."
Yeah, he does every game.
Because the thing is, you know, he
not
was
level.
such a highly recruited kid, and he was really good that everyone was hyping him up, and his mom just wanted to ground him and say like, "Hey, like you need to remember, like everybody's telling you you're great. I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to tell you suck." So before every game, she sends him a text that says, "You suck."
Yep.
I thought moms were supposed to be the ultimate hype man.
Yeah.
His mom's out here like, yeah, you're a trash kid. Why are you even on the field?
Well, yeah, like why does it have to be like so drastic? Like Tiger Woods just had like his Sunday red, like he just wore Sunday red every time he
The
played on
super
Sundays.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Like
yeah.
it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but moms are out here telling their kids they suck. You know?
My mom got me yelled at by my high school coach.
Dad, can you not come home after you go to get the milk to help you get pumped up for this game?
Dude,
Whoa, that's
That was a
crazy.
superstition. My bad.
That was crazy. Holy.
Is that not one? My bad.
whoa.
So
Jeez.
Braid, you taped your wrists in baseball. Was there anything else? Like I feel like baseball has a lot of superstitions. Like I feel like you guys, those that play baseball, have like a lot of little things that you guys.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's common ones like there's always the rally cap. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. But
Yeah, turn
bottom
your
of
head
nine,
inside out.
Turn it inside out. Throw it
Yeah.
on. One for me, like in game 2, that I always did. I'd get up to the plate. I'd touch the outside corner of the plate, and then I'd be ready to go. That's a long stretch for me because I got short arms, but I always had to touch the outside corner. I was locked in, and so there's a ton of. I'll have to think back through because there's a ton in baseball that are just weird ones that, for a lot of baseball players are normal, but then people talk about it, I'm like, whoa, what were we doing? So, but yeah, I mean, the rally cap's always a staple that anybody who played baseball ever has seen or participated in. So,
Okay.
what about you guys? I know, obviously, you guys playing football and rugby, like, there's a bunch I'm sure you guys had.
One of my things is like I cannot eat on game day. Like I could not eat before games. It made me feel like lethargic and sluggish.
The
So
whole day?
the whole day I wouldn't eat like maybe something like for breakfast, like maybe something quick like a protein bar, like a granola bar or something, but I wouldn't eat for the rest of the day. And guys like before the games on Fridays would always go out and they'll go out to Wendy's or McDonald's and get something to eat before. And I was like, I don't know how you guys do it because I can't. I could not eat rugby games, football games, whatever. Could not eat on game day like anything super heavy or like a meal. I wouldn't eat breakfast, lunch, nothing. I just wait until after. So, and I had lucky socks for rugby. I had like one game where I popped off on where I felt like I had a good game, and I think they were Hawks socks at the time, but they were just like really long socks. I think they were like from like a soccer league or something, but they were like the perfect red. And I wore them one time, felt like I had a good game, and then I had to wear those the rest of the year. So I had some lucky socks and couldn't eat. That was kind of it for me personally. I mean, tape and write people's names on the tape and who you're playing for and whatnot. But
Did you wash the lucky socks, or did you just let those things get rank?
no, I couldn't do that. I had to wash them. I couldn't sit there. Yeah, I couldn't sit there, but.
Chris, what about you, man?
I don't know that I had any crazy ones. I was one of those people that would go eat before a game, like go to Arctic Circle, go to McDonald's. We'd go grab some food. Mostly before home games, because we had a lot of time till we had to be ready and stuff. But
Chris had that offensive lineman diet before games.
I did. I really did, and I didn't show because I was like the smallest person on the team. But another one that I had is kind of funny. I played junior year. I played JV, and me and one of our other buddies, we would sit on the bus together on every away game, and we'd have to listen to "Touch My Body" by Mariah Carey, We listened to it every time.
Touch
before
my
the game.
body?
Yeah.
How close were
yeah,
you guys
all-
sitting?
Listen, man, I don't know what it was. I don't know why, but it got us hyped, and 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 that's what we did. Every away game, sit on the bus next to each other, and we'd
Fair.
each take a headphone because we still had the old wired headphones, and he'd put it in. Each have one in, and we just listen to "Touch My Body."
I honestly think the
And that
best
was it.
superstitions don't make any sense. Like it's like
Hey.
why? I don't know. It
It,
just
it got us hyped.
just what
It
it
got
is.
us hyped. So
Dang. I don't think I had too many. I mean, what's funny is I notice myself now. I do think I have like OCD because I'll the way that I do certain things now I recognize it. But when I think to like superstitions, one of them was probably the wrist tape was one. We'll announce it now and get it out of the way. I was a kicker. So I mean, I played receiver and played some defense as well, but primarily kicked in high school. And there were some things that I did kind of in my routine that I'd get to the back of my stance and I'd have to tap my toe 2 or 3 times. I don't know why, I just did. But that's kind of like the extent of I think my superstitions. I didn't have too many. I don't know why. I kind of I wore my socks all the way up in rugby. Still don't know why. I had extra long
all
legs.
the way Holloway. You were an all the way Holloway kind of guy.
Go back and look. Look at the tape. Yeah, I kind of rolled them up. I don't know why. I just always did. So,
Now we're all washed up. We go out
Because
to
you
mow
like the
lawn.
short shorts with the long sock look.
well, I got long ass legs, so it just looks weird. I kind of look like a flamingo out there. If you go back and look, I just had
Like a
long
baby
legs and I got
giraffe.
these short shorts. Dude, it was, so I don't know. I felt like if I covered them or something, I'd just try to make it better. Yeah, these guys in these rugby shorts, they can wear like their sliders and their sliders wouldn't hang out and they look like they belong. I just looked like, I just didn't. I just never.
Well,
You know,
I think for a while when we first started playing rugby, a lot of us wore like our slider football shorts that had that we would put our knee pads in or our thigh pads in, and that was not the look. That I think it was.
We didn't know any better.
This guy says for a while. I wore them all the way through the state championship senior year. Like, I went to nationals in those things.
Brady still mows the lawn in those puppies to this day.
Honestly, I think the reason we wore them, if you remember, was because they had the built-in pads on the hip and your tailbone.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's like if you didn't have, I mean, I think we got to the point where a lot of us were cutting them, right? We were cutting them shorter so that we could at least have the hip pads.
Yeah.
Nothing gets, but yeah, I still to this day, like I'll go back and like try to relive some of those things and I'll look at like a picture and I'm like, man, I look like such an ass. Like that looks so dumb. Like, why didn't anyone tell me buying a Zenith helmet was going to look stupid? Like,
We did.
I mean, I feel like there was a certain individual on the team that bought one that should have been a pretty good indicator that like maybe it wasn't the right.
I think I bought mine first. So,
Okay, well,
Were you
That's
that
my-
certain
Well,
individual,
that might
Brady?
be worse.
okay. With that, we're going to roll into the asshole of the week.
We might have to change
What a
who it is.
segue.
Gosh. Yeah, I could use a superstition cleanse right now.
yeah.
No, let's jump into a bit that I think we're going to roll with, as it kind of corresponds with the name of the pod. The asshole of the week. Anyone got one they want to throw out?
Yeah,
A story.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple. I mean, these are all sports related. I mean, Justin Tucker, I think is a is a solid one. I mean,
It's not just an asshole. That's just being an idiot.
what a fall from grace for that guy. Like one of the top kickers in the league. Like everybody loved him.
Idiot.
And then he's been terrible this year. Can't make any kicks, and then he's out here harassing masseuses. Like,
He's hanging with Deshaun.
yeah, he is absolutely. He's going to be signed by the Browns here in a couple weeks.
He
Like,
slid right into his DMs immediately.
yeah, they're like, hey, are you
Hey.
looking for the largest kicker contract ever? We'll pay
Guaranteed,
ya.
fully guaranteed.
Yeah, we'll pay you, and you don't even have to kick for like a couple of years. You can just show up, and we just want the bad media attention. I also think I don't know if you guys have seen it a little bit. I've seen it kind of starting to pick up. I don't know how much is valid, but seems like there may be some stuff brewing that maybe the Chiefs owner's wife has been paying off some of the refs. according to Tom Brady.
Ah, jeez.
From Tom Brady.
Listen,
Okay.
again, I'm not saying that there's any validity to it. I'm not trying to say that I dug too deep into it, but if the Chiefs have actually been paying off, if that comes out, I was just thinking that if it comes out, everything that they've ever done for the last few years,
They'll be stripped of all their
titles will be
championships,
stripped.
everything.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah. Super Bowl championships, like
I'm just saying if that happens and it comes out, I will be insufferable to Chiefs fans. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
They'd
you
get
and
torn a new
you
one
and
for sure.
our buddy.
yeah. Yeah. Us and I think we could say first names.
You think? Okay.
Sean.
Sean, yeah. I mean, Sean's going to go crazy.
If Sean ever hears this one day, like, yeah, you know he's gonna go nuts
Yeah. Yeah.
if
But
that ever happens.
those are my two. I don't know if anybody else has any assholes of the week to add in there.
I don't think I do.
No, I think. I mean, I think you hit those right on the head.
Yeah,
So
Justin Tucker's a good one.
Yeah, I don't really know as far as recency bias if there's anything that's gonna top Justin Tucker that coming out.
I'm interested to see how. I mean, obviously, there's something there. There's got to be something there. I'm interested to see if it's how deep it goes.
So,
I just
so was he.
I don't
Okay,
know why.
Right, Brady.
I don't,
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even catch that one. That was kind of
missed
crazy.
that.
That was kind of crazy though.
Sorry.
So was he.
Sorry.
Oh.
Jeez.
I mean, that was kind of a twofer, like a deep massage, and the other, the other innuendos.
I don't.
what's the other innuendo?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a virgin, so I don't know.
You have a kid.
That's the milkman's kid, not mine.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding. Just
He
kidding.
looks nothing like you.
My wife would kill me. She would never do that. I'm just putting that out there. But
Your milkman is pretty handsome.
I don't know why it's so like I don't understand this masseuse thing. Like, why do you got to be weird? Why do you got to be weird about it?
They need some action.
Listen,
Like, apparently they're just not getting enough.
have you not seen the $25 massage signs off the side of the road?
There's
a
one right
bargain.
by my house.
Yeah, Chris sees it often.
Chris is.
I gotta go now.
Yeah.
Got a massage scheduled in 10 minutes.
Jeez. No, I think Justin Tucker runs away with that title this week.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I don't
agree.
I don't think there's much debate there.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't want to say Chris was kind of an asshole when we were playing Call of Duty with Braden last night, but we aren't going to throw that out. So
It was all a joke. It was all a joke.
Go on mute again.
Go on mute again, please don't.
I mean, I think Call of Duty brings out the worst in us sometimes and the best in us. I think. I mean, I've had my moments. I think we can all attest to that.
732.
I think
I'd get off too.
well, what's funny is I think all of us grew up playing COD at a very much a public match level. There was no rank play. There was no war zone. It was so repetitive. And I think back to that and I'm like, how did I just go for 4 or 5 hour stints of playing pubs? I would go nuts.
Oh, yeah. Well,
would go
a lot of
nuts.
it's advanced too. Like the cheats and stuff that these people have now is like we didn't have that. We weren't even thinking about that when we were kids.
Because I didn't even have any online playing capability until I got married, so I came around a little later.
Braden got his first phone when he turned 30.
iPhone 7.
Well, I think it was different too, like back when we were kids, because there wasn't as much publicity, So like there wasn't a ton of people playing it,
Definitely.
and it was just like you grinded with your friends, you talked about it, for a while, and then like, it was fun. You hop on, you shoot some guns, you unlock some camos. Like they had the old Prestige, so like you had things to push for, and I think it was just a different change of pace from a lot of what we were playing. Like I think. At least, I know for me and Braden growing up, like we had Need for Speed, played a lot of Need for Speed. Like Sly Cooper was great, Ratchet and Clank, like
Classics.
you had some solid games, but they were all story games, and so like I think Call of Duty was kind of one of those first like multiplayer FPS games that really kind of started to gain some traction, and that made it a lot of fun to try something different other than just playing story mode games.
Yeah, and I think it falls into a category of games such as like Gears of War or like Halo, right? Being in kind of those first online, FPS shooters that also weren't esports, right? They weren't involved in esports. They were kind of like their own separate thing. You had Madden, growing up. You had NCAA, maybe not to the level they have them now, obviously, but everything kind of morphed into that esports image that it is today with the games.
And I think sorry, and I misspoke a little bit, but what Call of Duty. I think you're right, Brady. Call of Duty, Halo, Gears of War kind of all fall into that same category, but there were other games that were obviously like FPS shooters that were popular at the time. I think like CS:GO. I think you had kind of like League of Legends that was kind of pretty popular way back when as well, and then World of Warcraft. But I think like Call of Duty, Halo, Gears of War, like those were the most accessible because a lot of those like CS:GO was PC.
Yeah.
League was PC most of the time, like so just accessible to those that were trying to get in, that were into gaming. So I think that's why it probably was a lot more fun back then. Now it's just
it was
Now it's a
it was what
grind.
we had, right? There wasn't anything else.
I was just
speaking-
thinking about. I was just gonna say I was thinking about when I really first started getting into ranked and Canyon. I mean Canyon, Brady, Chris, you guys are all pretty good at Call of Duty, and I'm by far the worst. Like there's no doubt about that.
Not by
There-
far.
No, it's by far.
Not for the first three games of the
pretty
night.
close.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. First 3 games
Yeah.
of the night, I will pop off and I will play well, and then the next 42 games, I'm 7-32 and probably just get off Canyon. But I was thinking
We'll
about.
tell you that story in a minute.
Oh yeah, we'll get into
we
that.
don't need to.
No, we're getting into that one.
I have an inside joke. These people will wonder what it is.
But I was thinking about when when I very first started playing ranked, and we were trying to practice, and
Oh,
so
geez.
we joined just a private
Oh,
match with all of
geez.
us. And Canyon's getting stressed just thinking about this. So we're all in this
Oh, man,
match.
we
We're
pissed
trying
him off.
to practice, routes and positioning and everything. And I don't think me and Chris could take it serious.
Nope.
We took it
No.
serious for maybe 30 seconds.
We never take things serious.
And for probably the next hour, while Canyon's trying to teach us how to be good at this game, me and Chris are running around shooting each other, shooting everybody else. And I've never seen Canyon so mad at my life. He got off, didn't hear a word from him the rest of the night, and we haven't practiced since. And now it's just like, we're getting on, we're going to play. What happens is going to
Yeah,
happen.
Okay.
happens.
Okay. Listen.
And this is
Let
why
me.
I'm 7-32.
Can I provide? I need to provide a little bit of backstory here because. Okay, truthfully, the backstory probably isn't going to help me look any better. but
Let's hear it.
just collective. So we had decided that we wanted to play ranked. I think me and Brady were the only ones that had watched Call of
Competitive
Duty.
Call of
Yeah,
Duty.
competitive Call of Duty. And so we had decided that we wanted to play. We all like to be good at things, right? Like we all like to be good. We don't want to hop on and suck at stuff. So I was like, okay, let's do like we can talk about rotations and holding points and setups and whatnot. And I went down to Vegas when we had initially talked about it. So I packed up like all of my stuff, brought it all the way down to Vegas. Like my family had gone to bed. I had hopped on and got it set up to hop on and go through it. As soon as we get into that lobby, you guys are shooting each other. As soon as we hop in there. So I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not wasting any more of my time. I brought all this down here. And you two have been like this as long as I've known you. And at times, it's great. It's endearing. It's a part of it. But sometimes it's like just you two that are in on it. And it is infuriating. It started from Mr. Mitchell's class, and it just. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I was tired, if I had like just driven out to Vegas or what, but I was like, I'm done. I'm off. I'm not doing this.
Canyon drove
So-
to Vegas just to put up with mine and Chris.
Well, and honestly, I think truthfully, I think looking back at it, I was a little embarrassed that I was like trying so hard to be good at Call of Duty, and like I was. And so I was just like, this is embarrassing, and they're not taking it seriously. I feel dumb. I'm hopping off. Like,
Well, Carly asked me the other day. She's like, when you guys play Call of Duty, she's like, why are you guys so competitive at it?" And I was like, I think it's just because we all grew up as athletes. Like, I think we just have a competitive edge, and there's something about, I think you just hit the nail on the head, Canyon, when he's talking about wanting to be good at everything. It's like something about Call of Duty that is just everybody's played it. It feels like everybody has played it, and like when it comes to the rank aspect of things, to be able to say like I'm good, like you don't really know what level that is. And so it's kind of like you're constantly pushing yourself like I just want to rank up, and then you lose a game because of something, you did something stupid, and it's like what can I go do to fix that, right? I know we talk about it all the time, but then there's other times where we don't want to talk about it. We just move on to the next match. It's like I'm over this, bro. Like I don't care. But there's definitely been a ton of rage-inducing experiences in our last couple of years, at least.
I think it also just goes back to how we feel like we're still 17 years old, but we're not. You know,
we're freaking 30-year-old.
Yeah, we're
dads
30
raging on Call
Yeah.
of Duty, just absolutely raging.
the only. Go ahead, Braden.
I was going to say something about sitting in a chair and just moving the joysticks helps that competitive edge.
Well, it's such a funny part of our generation. Like you get on TikTok, you get on Instagram, you get on all these social medias, and how many memes do you come across of a wife or some dad that's getting on? You know, you have grandpa Twitch streamers now that are,
Tactical grandma.
Yeah, tactical grandma, and like random Twitch streamers that are older, and like a lot of the people we watched are getting older, and it's just kind of a funny thing that wasn't around when we were younger.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that Canyon needs to tell the 7 and 32 story.
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm always. It is embarrassing that I take it so seriously. I think, and that's
embarrassing.
That's all this is. That's all this is telling me. But
falls into that category after last night too. So.
I can't say much.
Okay, so 7 and 32, I'd get off 2.
That's really good, by the way.
Oh man.
We were playing Call of Duty. We've been playing ranked for a while. I think it was one of those nights where we're losing every game that we're getting into, and I think that we had gone back and forth on a couple of things, and I think we were bickering at each other and like taking like subtle shots, and like me and Braden have been friends. We talked about it on the last episode where we've been friends since we were 8 years old. Like, and I think for a long time, I still think to this day, I don't know if me and Braden have ever like gotten into like a fight or a disagreement. And this is probably the closest we've gotten. And so I feel bad that it was from Call of Duty and not something that's like actually notable or like worth it. Yeah. But we get into this game where we've been playing all night. We're losing every game. And we finish this game. Braden says, "All right, I'm hopping off," and he was upset. Which Braden doesn't get upset. If you know Braden at all, you know that Braden doesn't get upset or too emotional about those kind of things. At least on the frustrated side. And Braden was pretty frustrated. He goes, "That's it. I'm hopping off." And I look at Braden's kill to death ratio. And he got 7 kills to 32 deaths.
Here, should we do the math on that real fast? Let's see what that KD is.
I mean, it's like a 0.23. I think is kind of what it comes out to.
0.23. That's what it's going to be. I want to go a little lower. 0.21.
So, anyways, Braden says he gets off, and I look at his stats and I say, 7 and 32. I'd get off too. and Braden hops off. Yep, he closes the game.
If you would have waited like 2 seconds, the mouse was literally hovering over the Discord end button, and all I hear to finish is 7 and 32. Yeah, I get off too, and I was like, "Excuse me? Well, you think
was
I don't know that's bad?"
That was yeah, that was
That's pretty good stuff.
Not my brightest moment. I feel like we should probably move on from this because
That's never going to happen.
In
You
your
will live
defense,
it-
that
you
is
will live
very
it forever.
bad. So,
well
yeah.
in obviously talking about COD and us growing up playing COD. I'd love to kind of just, what if we jumped into something a little bit, kind of looking at where we're at now rather than where we were growing up, right? And things that your kids are into that you were into back in the day, right? So taking a trip down memory lane, maybe having some nostalgia aspects to it. And, that could be video games. I'll share a quick little story to kind of kick it off here. There's a game called Dress to Impress, which is actually played through Roblox, and it's kind of like that. You get a theme, and they're kind of like in a fashion designer thing. And both my girls, both Eden and Ellie, love playing it. They like ask, hey, they can't like really read. Eden's learning to read, but they don't know the theme. So like you'll tell them a theme, and then they'll walk around and find clothes that kind of match that, right? And then there's like other people online that are playing, and they're doing the same thing. And at the end, there's like a fashion show. And the other day, Eden was playing Dress to Impress, and when she plays, she just plays at the kitchen counter, and when we're doing dishes or something like that. And I hear her laughing, and I was like, Eden, what are you laughing about? And she's like, I'm in the chat. And I was like, what do you mean you're in the chat? And I go around, and bro, she's talking crap in the chat about people's outfits. She's learning to read, and so I go around, and some girl's outfit came up, and she was like, yuck, yuck. And the girl had typed back and was like, what do you mean, yuck? I worked really hard on that. Eden just ugly. But just like going at this girl, dude. And I was like, Eden, you're not allowed to type in the chat. Like you don't know what you're saying. You can't read what those people are. And she just starts laughing. So I don't know.
Yours is that your daughter talks crap like you used to, is what you're saying.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
said-
I mean,
did you
mostly
in the
that
chat
she
the
likes
other
she
day?
likes video games. But I thought that was a funny story
That
because
is funny.
she definitely caught me and Carly off guard. We didn't know she even knew that there was a chat. So that was a learning experience for us.
She's got 7-year-olds across the world in tears because she told them that their pink polka dot dress was yuck.
Well, what's funny is Carly from time to time will say it. So I'm pretty sure there might have been some middle-aged woman in like Indiana that
that is exactly where I went. Where it was like some 32-year-old that was just like hopping on. It's just like one of her hobbies. And then you've got this. I mean, how old is? Yeah,
7-year-old.
Got some 7-year-old. Yeah,
Yuck.
ugly. Can you imagine just seeing one word yuck? Like that is diabolical. I mean, I love it. I love
so
it.
funny.
But
It was really, really
that's hilarious.
Jeez.
That is great. Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, my kid's really young, so I kind of
He takes baths.
love baths. Big bath guy. We have that in common. Making sure starting them off young.
Well,
the same toys.
Does he eat chicken nuggets in the bath too?
Too far.
Does he snorkel in the bathtub?
Does he have goggles?
We can't talk about this.
Braden's bath time is sacred time, guys. Let's leave him alone.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that is a
Sorry.
special time for me, and I'm trying to
eat your
teach my
chicken
son
nuggies?
the finer things in life. All right.
Yeah, Eden might do dance. Ellie's gonna throw the javelin.
Those are two very different things. No, he's literally just a miniature me. Like
He is.
he loves
agree there.
football, he loves basketball, he loves rugby, he loves hunting. Like anything that I do or did when I was little, that's just who he is. He loves video games. He'll sit here and play freaking NCAA for hours. So he's literally just a miniature me.
Don't let him get undressed to impress. He might-
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, kid,
he's
no,
wild.
no. I'm more worried about Kinley getting on that game. She's mean.
Yeah, Kinley's got some sass.
She's mean, but
She's gonna hurt some feelings.
yeah, I agree. But no, Kinley likes like some of the stuff she likes to do is like fish. She's not like she. If you see her, she loves dresses. She's a girly girl through and through, but she's not scared to go fishing or stuff like that. Get outside. So, I mean she's into some of the same stuff I am. She's a lot different than Haley was as a kid, because Haley's like she's a farm girl, kind of tomboyish. Not like the way she dresses or anything like that, but likes to be outside in the mountains, all that kind of stuff. Kinley's like girly girl. She dances. She does all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. They're funny.
I think that one thing that you failed to mention, I know it's not necessarily something that you were into, but Kinley does have a little bit of a temper, and she does get that from one individual.
I know Haley she's bad.
I don't think
She's
I've
bad.
ever heard Haley raise her voice, ever.
You haven't been around very much.
Chris hears
No,
that
yes,
often.
Kinley does unfortunately have my attitude and
That's
the
what we're gonna
temper
call
that
it?
I had. The temper that I had when I was young. Yeah, she's. We always say Easton is like, he loves the same stuff I love, and he looks just like me, but he's got Haley's temperament. He's very sweet, very quiet, will do anything for anybody. Just that, he's just that kind of kid. Kinley she looks like Haley. She's me through and through. She's sassy. She's mean sometimes. She'll tell you what she's thinking. She will tell you what she's thinking,
Yes, she will.
and it's not always nice.
No.
I
So
remember
Ellie's the same way.
I came over to your house here a few weeks back, Chris, and Kinley and one of her friends were sitting on the porch.
Oh,
And I
jeez.
opened my door to my car, and the first thing I hear is, "Don't touch my pumpkin!" And her friend was just sitting there, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Wow,
yeah,
that sounded like Chris. I could see
yeah,
Chris doing that when he was
yeah. She's mean. She can be mean. She loves to call me names. Loves to call me names.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
are some
Why
of
don't you
those
tell
names?
us? Why don't you tell us some of those names?
Well, Canyon loves that she calls me these. He thinks it's hilarious. and honestly, I don't know where these came from. Well, just one day I was telling her goodnight, and I was tucking her in and giving her a hug and saying goodnight. I said, "Good night, Kinley. I love you." And she goes, "Good night, fat beef." And I was like, "What? Fat beef? Where on earth that? I have no idea. Still to this day, I don't know where that came from." So a few of those are fat beef, fat daddy, big boy. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Does she
She likes to call me fat.
ever hit you with a big beef?
Oh yeah, I've had big beef. Yeah, big beef.
That's hilarious.
It's kind of like
I don't-
your mom texting you, "You suck" text. Your daughter.
Yeah,
puts
but my
you down
daughter
so you go
just
to the gym.
verbally abuses me. She verbally abuses me
I
every day.
I think fat beef is probably my favorite
Yeah,
nickname
Fat
of all
Beef is a
time.
good one.
Just good night, fat beef. It's just crazy.
New gamer
Out of
tag.
nowhere. Yeah, fat beef. Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, she's kind of a sassy little girl.
She is. She is indeed. Yeah, I think for me, Jax, he loves sports. Like he's really enjoyed baseball, which I don't know how I'm gonna be if I'm gonna be able to be a baseball dad, but we'll see how that goes.
Good kid.
He really loved baseball, but he loves coming to rugby practice. I think one of the things that I've really enjoyed is he likes a lot of the same cartoons that I used to like, which I'm a very nostalgic person. Like I hold on to, or like a very, what's the word? Like I hold on to things. What's the word? Sentimental. Yeah.
Sentimental, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a very sentimental person, so like when I get things from people, I like hold on to things. I'm not like a hoarder, but like if I get something from you guys, like I remember those things and I hold on to those things, or from Carly and Jax, I think is very much that way. But we've enjoyed watching like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles together, which I loved as a kid, and like Power Rangers and all of that stuff. Like I know it's kind of like just small things, but like it's really it's a really interesting perspective to be able to watch through me now as a grown up, seeing the same reactions that he's having when I was a kid, and remembering those feelings that I had from wanting to be a Power Ranger or wanting to be the hero, or just like the cool fighting and kicking and all of that stuff. Like, it's not so much that he likes the same shows, but just getting to see, as his dad, his reaction to what I remember from those shows, I think has been pretty cool. But he likes to play video games. We tried Minecraft for a little bit. He tries.
Keaton loves Minecraft. He'll sit here and play for hours.
I'm I'm always envious when you play with Easton on NCAA, because I can't wait for that day to play with
It's
Jax.
so fun.
But for right now, I just put it on. I put two teams on the screen, and then I just have it be like a computer simulation. So he thinks he's playing,
Oh yeah.
but he's not. So, that'll buy me like a good 30 minutes of
Free time.
free time for him to play that before he's bored or they're not doing what he wants, and so then he's done. But it's been fun, and I one of the things I wanted to ask you, Braid, because your situation is a little bit different than the three of us, where Kaysen's still pretty young. Is there anything that I know that you said that you want him to be an athlete, but is there anything that you're looking forward to experiencing with him, or that you are hoping that he is like you, or that he's like Tessa in a certain way?
No, it's funny. Like, obviously, one of my things I'm looking forward to is he grows and is like walking and crawling, and even like with your guys' kids when they were at my house, like I love to watch them run around in the backyard. Like, I hope that Kaysen loves to be outside. Like, he loves to be in the mountains, loves to go on hikes, hunt, whatever. Like, I know me and Tessa both are like, hey, we want to, be outside often, and we want to hopefully instill that in Kaysen. So it's like, yeah, like let's go run around the backyard. Let's go on a hike. Let's go to the park. And obviously, you guys have had kids a lot longer than I have, and obviously the challenge for me and Tessa before we were blessed with Kaysen, like for me, it was way cool because I got to do that with your kids and have those experiences with your kids. And so I'm really excited to, as Kaysen grows, to have those with him and see what his interests are and grow with him. So yeah, super excited for that.
Sweet. That'll be cool. I'm excited to watch it too. Excited to see it.
Yeah.
Make sure your kids rough him up though. He's got to
It's
be
definitely
tough.
no. There's definitely something about seeing your kids take an interest in something that you do, and it's I don't know. Me and Carly have talked about this kind of to quite a bit, and I've said, hey, I want them to do this or I want them to do that, but then again, I don't want to feel like I'm forcing to them to do things that they don't want to do or they just genuinely don't have interest in. I had a cool experience the other night. I'll share this, and then we can kind of jump into kind of wrapping things up here because we've been on for 58 minutes going on here. But a quick experience that I had of just kind of wrapping this up was the other night I turned on a YouTube video that was as a hunting YouTube video. They were putting out the first episode of a series, and I just invited the girls to come watch it with me, and I ended up turning it on, and they were watching it for a second, and then they kind of got invested, and then I had to go help with Max, or had to go step away and do something, and came back 25 minutes later, and they were both just cuddled up on the couch still watching this elk hunting video, and I was like, all right, cool, like, yeah, what did you, and then afterwards they ended up asking me tons of questions, but being in the position to where they are taking that general interest, though, is probably one of the coolest things that I can say for me has happened as in being a dad, right?
Just those proud dad moments, right?
Yeah, I mean, having girls, I didn't know the freak they were going to be into. I mean, I had sisters, and they all kind of were into different things. I had a theater sister, so
Braden.
and she was Morgan. Shout out you. You're freaking awesome. Did great.
Morgan's one of my favorites.
She's
Everyone loves Morgan. You know, I had Kaylee as well, who was into athletics. She was very much into basketball and would throw elbows if she needed to. And then you had Morgan, who's very different, and Leah and Eve, who are also very different into different things. And so it's just kind of one of those things where you kind of, I've kind of just come to the conclusion that, like, I'm going to show them why I love things. Whether or not they catch on to it is kind of up to them. But there's always kind of a hope that, you know, you can find something that you can bond over that you guys have, you know, grown up loving together. So,
Yeah. Sweet. I love it.
Awesome, guys. We'll wrap it up there. Obviously, appreciate you guys jumping on another episode. You know, another one in the books. We'll keep pumping these things out. They seem like they go smoother every single time. Well, I mean, this is only the second time, so I can't really say that. I can't really say that. But like,
To be fair,
hopefully-
this one was better than the first one.
Yeah, and I think we're finding a good rhythm too. Like I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I think it's gotten better. I think especially from last week to now.
Yeah.
better. But
Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard to beat last week.
true.
Like, as far as the setup and everything goes.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
We'll figure that out.
we'll figure it out. We got it. Cool.
We'll iron it out. Maybe we'll get some special guests on here soon enough. I don't know anyone who wants to be on our podcast.
My wife already asked me if she could be on the podcast.
I don't
I don't know if I want Haley on here either.
I don't trust that.
Because Haley's got a memory on her that is dangerous.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's-
You don't tell her stuff or let her see stuff if you don't want to hear about it for the
Chris,
for the rest of your life, to be honest.
Yeah.
your wife gives me more crap than all three of you guys put together. So
Yep.
I
That's
I'm
who she
nervous.
is. She's
Well,
great.
Jeez.
I'm sure we'll probably have the wives on here at some point. That seems like a pretty natural thing. But I think for anybody that is watching, just if there's anything that you guys want to hear us talk about, or you know, if there's a specific question that you have for somebody, let us know. We're more than happy to talk about it. But yeah,
Cool.
awesome. Thanks for joining, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good.
See ya.
see you guys.